Okay, you just can't see me. Well, I can't see me. Is that the way it's supposed to be?
Who is that speaking?
Uh,
Representative Rose.
Oh,
Representative Rose, we hear you.
yeah,
Um,
yeah, we hear you.
we're about to get started. Thank you so much for joining us this morning.
Yes. Okay. Good morning, everyone. Today is Saturday, October 18th, and we would like to welcome you to the NABWIC Policy, Procurement, and Power webinar this morning, where we will have special guest Texas State Representative Tony Rose and Deputy Chief of Staff Kendall Locke from the Office of U.S. Congresswoman Jasmine Crockett. They will be bringing us some nuggets as we learn more about working with our government at the state, local, and federal levels. And we will get started this morning first with a word of prayer by Ms. Tamala Bowie out of Dallas, Texas.
Good morning, everyone. Let's prepare ourselves to go before the throne. Dear Heavenly Father, Lord, we just come before you, Lord. We just bow down at your feet and at your throne and acknowledge you for who you are. We just ask, Lord, that you just be in this meeting, Lord. We ask that you give us clarity of thought, clarity of mind, clarity of knowing and hearing your voice, and allow us to be productive in your kingdom, dear Heavenly Father God. We ask you to do all these things in the matchless name of Jesus Christ. To God be the glory. In Jesus Christ's holy name, we pray and ask. Amen.
Amen. Thank you so much for that beautiful prayer, Miss Tamala. At this time, we would like to do a roll call. So, if you would not mind coming off mute, and we'll come off just as we go down, and we will say who we are, where we're from, and what we do. And we'll do this fairly quickly, go through everyone so that we can just acknowledge who all is here on our call this evening. I will start off. My name is Mia Ferguson. I'm out of Dallas, Texas, and I am a NABWIC member, actually leading the efforts to charter our Dallas chapter of the NABWIC organization.
My name is Tamala Bowie. I am a NABWIC member, and I'm in the Dallas area as well. Nice to meet everyone.
Hello, everyone. My name is Monique Strong. I am a NATWIC member of the Atlanta chapter.
Good morning. This is Commissioner Yawanda, NABWIC member for the Vice President of the Detroit area, and I'm an appointed government official.
Good morning. My name is Equilla Still. I'm out of the Dallas area. I'm a NABWIC member and new volunteer. Good morning.
Rising, this is Lakina Armstrong, Detroit area.
Good morning. This is Margaret Gashman, South Florida chapter president.
Good morning, everybody. Tiffany Cherry, Charlotte, North Carolina, NABWIC member and leader for the Charlotte area.
Good morning, everybody. This is Angela Berry Robertson from the Dallas area, NABWIC chapter.
Hey, good morning, everyone. This is Carla Hill in the Philadelphia, Pennsylvania area. NABWIC member as well.
Good morning, Ann McNeil out for a walk.
Good morning, it's Lavondria Cobb. I'm a NABWIC member in the Tampa, Florida area.
Good morning, this is Pamela Ramos Brown in the Dallas area and looking forward to helping Mia with the Dallas chapter and the annual meeting.
Good morning, this is Janie Collins, and I'm out of Dallas, and I also look forward to helping me on the membership.
Good morning, everyone. I'm Rhea Williams, volunteer with the Dallas chapter.
Mia, if you're talking, we can't hear you. Are you on mute? Are you talking?
Still muted.
Can you all hear me now?
Yes.
Okay, awesome. I was just asking, have we had everyone to introduce themselves? It looks like that we have. Most of us have come off mute and introduced ourselves. So we will proceed with our agenda as so next we will have Miss Monique Strong to give us a little overview of the NABWIC Government Relations Subcommittee.
All right. Thank you, Mia. So the Government Relations Subcommittee, which operates under the NABWIC's National Legislative Committee, this subcommittee brings together representation from chapters and also areas from across the country, and ensuring that our collective voice is heard at every level of government, local, state, and federal. Our mission is to advocate, educate, and connect. We build relationships with elected officials, policymakers, and agencies to expand access and opportunities for Black women in construction and related industries. And we're excited to have the Dallas chapter host for this month. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Monique. At this time, I am going to share my screen to just present our agenda for today. Okay, so this is our agenda as prepared for our call today. Can I please have a motion to accept and approve the agenda as presented in a second?
This is Katina, motion to accept the agenda as presented.
Tiffany Cherry, I second.
Thank you so much. All right, next I will share my screen and pull up the NABWIC mission and vision. And we will have Miss Aquila Steele to read our mission and vision.
Our vision and mission. The vision of the National Association of Black Women in Construction, NABWIC, is to build lasting strategic partnerships with first-rate organizations and individuals that will provide groundbreaking and innovative solutions for Black women in construction and their respective communities. We are the voice of Black women in construction. NABWIC was founded to increase the national awareness of Black women in the construction industry. Our charge is to advocate for Black women-owned construction businesses for contract opportunities, create strategic environments that support educational, entrepreneurial, professional, and social network connections, train the next generation of Black women in the construction industry. Thank you.
Thank you so much for that, Aquila. All right, so now as we prepare to move into our speakers, I would like to call Miss Angela Berry Robertson for introduction of our first guest speaker.
Thank you so much, Mia. Good morning, everybody. I am so honored and pleased to introduce one of our local champions here in the Dallas area. We have the Honorable Tony Rose. State Representative Rose was elected in 2012 to represent Texas House District 110, which encompasses communities of Oak Cliff, Pleasant Grove, and Bald Spring in Dallas County. Representative Rose is a proud alumna of Paul Quinn College, HBCU, And her legislative focus includes mental health reform, access to affordable health care, and criminal justice reform. Currently, Representative Rose serves as the vice chair of the following committees: the House Subcommittee on Article 2, Appropriations, House Committee on Calendars, and Human Services. She is also a member of the Redistricting Committee and the newly formed House Select Committee on Health Reform. During the 88th legislative session, Representative Rose was very busy. She secured funding for mental health initiatives. She also authored House Bill 12, which extended postpartum Medicaid benefits for Texas moms, as well as securing funding for the Department State Health Services for the Alzheimer program. Amongst her other achievements, she extended Dallas County's ability to transport senior citizens to county-run health centers, wellness events, and designated December 1st as Rosa Parks Day. Representative Rose currently serves as the secretary of the National Black Caucus of State Legislators. Additionally, she holds membership in the following: the NAACP Dallas branch, the League of Women Voters of Dallas, Paul Quinn National Alumni Association, Texas Coalition of Black Democrats, United Negro College Fund, National Association of Negro Business and Professional Women's Club, National Association of Negro Women, and, sorry, she is my Sarah, Delta Sigma Theta Sorority Incorporated, Dallas Alumni Chapter. Thank you, my Sarah. Okay, let's go back. Sorry. Her former roles and appointments, she's very accomplished. I apologize, I'm almost done. Include chair of the Democratic Campaign Committee, deputy whip of the Texas House Democrat Caucus, secretary of the State Legislative Black Caucus, financial secretary of the National Black Caucus of State Legislators, and treasurer of the National Organization of Black Elected Legislative Women. Representative Rose is a fierce champion in District 110 and the great state of Texas. So we want to thank Representative Rose for joining us this morning, this early morning. But we appreciate it here in Dallas. I know y'all on the East Coast are like, it's 9:30. Well, it's 8:30 in Dallas. So we want to thank you, Representative Rose, for joining us this morning. And we'd love to hear your comments.
Thank you, Angela. I really appreciate you, my soror and friend. It's just that on Saturdays, I try not to set my alarm on Saturdays, especially right now. I'm really on a sabbatical. For those of you who may not know, the Texas legislature we just ended probably less than a month ago, and I'm completely and totally exhausted and trying to catch up on some rest. But, when my Sora asked me to join you all today, I gladly did. And I'm going to admit, last night I called, I'm like, is this thing at 8:30 in the morning? But you know what? It just shows the commitment that you all have. And I just want to say thank you all for extending the invitation for me to be here today. I'm honored to be here with women who are literally building America and doing it, in an industry that is, very tough to be in. And so I just want to thank you all for the work that you all are doing, and just want to appreciate you all. As Angela stated, I'm State Representative Tony Rose, and I represent Texas House District 110, which is in Dallas County. I am in my 7th term, so I've been in office for 13 years. And it has been the honor of my life to serve in this role. I kind of want to talk to you all about a few things, because one of the things that people don't realize when you talk about legislatures, everyone thinks that every legislature is the same, and it is not. So, like in Texas, we're only in session for 140 days every odd year, where some states, of course, as you as she stated, I'm a member of multiple national groups. And so I have, relationship with colleagues from all across the country. And some people meet year round. Some people meet, some people get paid, their legislatures, they get paid. But in the state of Texas, we only meet every odd year. We meet in every odd year for 140 days. We take care of the state, 2 years of state business within 140 days. So with that being said, and it's a non-paying job, I have to tell people all the time because they don't realize in Texas we are not paid. Now we do receive a stipend of $7,200 a year, which is $600 a month, which is equivalent to $19.22 a day. So this is truly a labor of love. The work that I'm doing, I just had the audacity to believe that I could help and make an impact on my community. And so that's why, and I tell people I was voluntold. I wasn't even trying to run for office. My dad had served as a judge in Dallas County for multiple years, and I couldn't stand politics. But because my community believed in me and felt that I had something to offer, I decided to offer myself up to do this work. So it is truly a labor of love. I want to talk to you about the work that you all do and how in the state and how it all intertwines, because a lot of people, it's a lot going on in DC right now. It's a lot going on in DC. But what people really don't realize and understand is that what really impact them on a daily life, it happens in the states. And so, as you all can see, the federal government really hasn't been functioning for a while. But a lot of things are really happening in the states, especially as it relates to the work that you all do, with procurement with the state. We control the licensing requirements. We allocate billions of dollars in transportation, and infrastructure. And so most of the things that you all do, I mean, I'm not saying that it don't happen on a federal, but majority of it, which really has a direct impact, it happens in the states. And so a lot of people do, as I just stated, we only have 140 days to operate. So that means the other year and a half that we're not working, because we're only in session for about 5 months, unless you have special sessions, which is what happened to us this year. Many of you probably know that some of us broke quorum to prevent, the creation of these additional seats. And so that's a whole nother story. But those items, those policy changes happen in special sessions, which can go for like 30 days. Each special session has 30 days. You don't have to totally utilize that 30 days, but it can, most of the times I've been there, they've always gone the complete 30 days. So that's why we was in session until September this year, as to where different from when we usually end in the beginning of June. And so a lot of the work that we do is done before we get there. So like right now, I'm on my little sabbatical right now, but I'm still meeting with people. I'm trying to do it. I'm just going to be true honest. If people call and want to meet with me or ask me to do something, I try my best to do it, because what happens, I tell people all the time, by the time the legislative session begin, I already know what it is that I'm going to be working on, what it is I'm going to file. I've already met with, the advocacy groups or the organizations or the companies, whoever it is that it impacts. So my encouragement to you all is here, especially those of you who are in the state of Texas. If there's something that you have a concern about or something that you may want to do in the state, try to get it done before, or work on it, or meet with, elected legislators um, during the interim, to be able to really, because what happens is that's when you earn out all the fires. Like, if I have a piece of policy that I want, I'm going to talk to all the advocacy groups. I'm going to have all the people who I want to come down and talk and support it. All of those things are going to be in line before the legislative session even begins, so that when the session begins, I'm really working my members, even though myself, I'm going to talk to people even before we get there, to make sure that that we're able to get the legislation passed. And there's another thing that happens too, politics. Now, I know all of that, everything is, again, it's crazy right now. But politics matters. And so, but one of the things that I can say here in the state of Texas, since I've been in the legislature, we've been able to work well with each other. It just so happened here recently, and I know you all may be a nonpartisan organization or whatever, but y'all, I mean, I can't sugarcoat. I have to tell you all the way it is, so that you all will be able to position yourselves to be able to do what you need to do to have an impact on your industry. But in the state of Texas, we've always been able to work well with each other. And it's one of the things that's kind of really disheartening to me. And I think that's why I keep saying I'm on a sabbatical, uh, this so-called sabbatical, because this past legislative session, I really watched the Texas legislature really change. More specifically in the House, the Senate has always kind of operated the way that it did this last legislative session. But over in the Texas House, we've always worked well with each other. I represent the most Democratic district in the state, but I've still been able to be effective because I've been able to, I don't have an issue talking with my Republican colleagues and expressing to them the needs of my district. And so that's why, since being in office, I've been able to get 45 law, past 45 bills that are state law now. And also been able to allocate about $1.5 billion through the Appropriations Committee, because I'm willing to have those conversations and really work with my colleagues. But I think what is really bothering me now, I see the changes, is that we're really becoming like DC. Because I don't have an issue with somebody thinking different from me, but let me be able, let's talk and have a conversation so that I can explain to you why this legislation may be important to my community, because Texas is not a one size fits all state. So everything can't be it's not going to be the same. Just because it's not that way in your particular area does not mean it's not having a negative impact on my district. And so I've been able to have those conversations and to be able to be somewhat effective. But we're getting to the point now to where, politics is so much in the policy. I mean, we've done a lot of great things in the Texas Ledge, those things that are not so political. Water, everybody needs water. How can water, I mean, even though it is, policy and political, but it shouldn't be to where it's a Democrat or Republican. Everybody needs water. I don't care who you are. And so we've been able to work, and things on water, like such as water transportation, infrastructure, those types of things work together with each other. But anyway, I'm just kind of want to give you all some little tips as far as your industry and how you can make strides in the state of Texas, because I can only speak towards the state of Texas. I know we have people from everywhere. And I heard somebody from Georgia, my good friend Tanya Anderson and all of them. Calvin Smyrie, all of my good friends over in Georgia. But in Texas, I can only basically kind of speak to Texas. But it's important to engage with your legislators. I know sometimes people think, and I guess because I grew up, my dad was elected official, and I guess I don't see, it's the people's house. And that's what I tell people all the time. I'm serving on your behalf. So don't feel like you can't have those conversations with me. You can't meet with me. And I try to meet with people, as many people as possible. Sometimes it gets to where I can't. But for the most part, and that's why I hire staff that's very competent and capable, so that if I'm not able to meet with them, they're able to, uh, talk to you about the issue and really probably explain it better than me sometimes, because they're the ones who actually work. They're the one who's doing the research, meeting with the agencies and gathering all that information. But it's important. And then even invite us to your job sites, invite us to what you're doing and what you're working on, so that we can have a better understanding of your industry. And basically help me help you. If I know what you need specifically, I can be able to go. If I don't know, I know how to go and find out who it is that I need to know to be able to help, especially as it relates to the procurement process and all of those things, which, with everything going on with DEI and all that, now it has gotten a little bit crazier in Texas, but it's not impossible. I just want to make sure that you all are encouraged as far as that is concerned. Um, I had a colleague, every time he talked about DEI, he always talked about Black people. And I'm like, do you know who the biggest benefactor of DEI in the state of Texas is? I says, it's white women. Tony, I know, go look it up. I mean, you always, you keep talking about like it's Black people, but it's not. It's white women who are the largest benefactors. So, but I just want you all to stay encouraged as far as that process is concerned and know that you have support when it comes to the Texas Legislative Black Caucus. I mean, we might be small in numbers, but we have majority of the seniority. So don't ever think that just because it's not a large group of us, it's 19 of us, which is, still good. I mean, but again, most of the majority of the seniority rides with us. And so always use us as an ally to work with you all. And also I want to see most of the I got some little notes here, y'all, because listen, like I said, it's 8:30. I want to make sure I didn't come in here and just start rambling and make sure I got all of the information that you all need. And another thing I want to talk to you all about, oh, that's another thing I want to share with you all as far as the legislative process. If there's some legislation that comes up that, that impacts you, sometimes you just can't drop the ball and come to Austin like that. But I want you all to realize that written testimony, sending your testimony in is just as impactful. I think we've gotten away to where people think that, writing a letter to an elected official is not impactful. Even in my own office, when letters come in, we log all of that information and my staff discuss that information with me. So don't ever feel like, letter writing campaigns is, if it was good enough for Martin Luther King and Rosa Parks and the rest of them, then my goodness, it ought to be good enough for us. And I understand we have social media now, but it's, but I just, good old letter writing, contacting or emailing your representative is still impactful. Also, I want to talk to you, but civic engagement is also key to bringing about policy change. And I think with your organization and what you all are doing, even though it's a business organization, I still see it being civic because again, you all are working with legislators. You all are being engaged with the process. I tell people all the time, they all say they don't do politics, and I say you may not do politics, but politics will do you. And so I'm gonna cut out right there because I know that I know I only had a few minutes, but I just wanted to share those things with you because like I said, I know I just wanted to make it clear that our legislative bodies are not the same. And I just kind of want to share with you all how Texas operates. And if there's anything my office can do to be of support to your organization, please feel free. I promise you, Angela has she will contact me and let me know. But just want you all to know that I am available and very supportive of the work that you all are doing.
Thank you.
Especially in the industry that you all are doing. I'm y'all some bad sisters because hey, everybody ain't cut out. Like y'all probably said that about me though. So let me hush.
Thank you so much, Representative Rose. We really appreciate you getting up this early, and you are making an impact, trust me, not only locally, but definitely nationwide through your national organization. So we really do appreciate you joining us this morning. And just let you know that our national meeting is coming to Dallas in January. So we may be calling on you in your office. And you guys did a wonderful job presenting with us this morning on our national legislative call. So we thank you so much for your comments and from the state and local perspective. And so now, as you know, we have from the federal perspective in the Texas area, as Representative Rose spoke about, the representatives and the legislators are only as strong as a strong staff. And so we are blessed to have Mr. Kendall Locke, hear from Representative Jasmine Crockett's office, who also represents us in the Dallas area in the great state of Texas. Kendall is a dynamic, a natural born leader whose unwavering commitment to democracy has shaped a remarkable career in public service and political advocacy. He worked on his first campaign when he was 12. And has had the opportunity to work on local, state, and federal campaigns across the state of Texas. Previously, he served as the chair of the Tarrant County Democratic Party and is currently the president of the Tarrant County Black Democrats, which is the Fort Worth side of the Metroplex for those of you guys who are not local to the Dallas-Fort Worth area. In June 2021, at the age of 18, while preparing his third semester in college, Kendall was appointed to serve as chief of staff of the Fort Worth City Council member Jared Williams, PhD, and making the youngest to serve in that position in the city's history. And then in November 2022, while helping manage her successful campaign, Kendall was appointed to serve as the Deputy Chief of Staff for the U.S. Congresswoman Jasmine Crockett, representing the 30th Congressional District of Texas, which is my congressional district, again, where he is the youngest Deputy Chief of Staff and one of the youngest senior staffers in history in the U.S. Congress. He is a proud native of Fort Worth, Texas, and is a December 2022 graduate of the University of North Texas, where he earned a bachelor's in political science. He is also proud product of Crowley ISD school system, where he remains deeply committed and active today. So we are going to welcome Kendall Locke for coming and being with us this morning. Thank you. Thank you so much for your service. Thank you. It's not only the representatives, as the representatives say, or the congresswoman, it is also the staff behind them, keeping them strong, keeping them uplifted, and keeping them sometimes informed. So Kendall, thank you, Mr. Locke, for joining us this morning. We'd love to hear comments from you.
Well, I appreciate it. Thank you so much, Miss Angela. Mia, I appreciate you for reaching out and for extending the invitation. And then to someone that I look up to, and I just take my cues from her, Representative Rose. So glad to be on with you. And honestly, I'm not going to take too much time because I want to be able for us to get into questions that anyone may have. But Representative Rose really kind of set the stage for why this work is important. And honestly, I just want to say thank you because for an organization that is centered around uplifting Black women, but in this particular environment, an environment in which, as Representative Rose mentioned, there's the continued attacks on DEI, but even at the federal level, when you look at the SBA and opportunities and resources that are no longer available for individuals who is executing this work that may be considered a MWBE, and those contract opportunities and scoring opportunities that should work in favor of people that look like us, but unfortunately those things aren't there anymore. I know that it's tough. And we are officially on day 18 of the government shutdown. So at the federal level, we're not doing anything right now. We have missed 2 weeks of voting, or 2 weeks of voting has been canceled by the speaker because I know this is nonpartisan organization, but I'm also going to just be very blunt and just kind of saying what it is. Republicans do not want to come to the table to negotiate. And so we're currently sitting at a crossroads in which we have individuals who are missing out on paychecks. My office and any congressional office, we are essentially going into work still, but it is work without pay at this point until we reopen the government. And it is just a very interesting time. And I think it is a very scary time when you have a government that does not want to function for the American people, especially recognizing that that is why we are in these roles, whether elected or appointed. It is to ensure that people in our communities have what they need to thrive, and so that we're able to be able to listen to our people like you all who are constituents, to be able to lobby us and talk to us about these various issues, and for us to actually introduce legislation. At this point, what people also don't realize, in this government shutdown, we're not able to file any legislation. We're not able to do anything. So it's government funding is a large piece of this, and that the agencies don't have the funding that they need to be able to do the work that they need to do, but also from a legislative standpoint, we're not doing anything. The House is not meeting on the floor. There is no debates. There's limited committee hearings. Nothing is happening at this point. So I think it's just a very sad point at the federal government at this point in time. But want to kind of just go a little deeper with what Representative Rose mentioned just around the importance of you all just being very tapped in and engaged with us when it comes to the legislators as well as staff. I've had a unique opportunity in that I've been able to work on the official side of things, both at the local level, so at a city level, a municipality level, but then also now at the federal level. And I tell people when it comes to those permits, because I know all y'all have the permitting woes, or when it comes to, of course, the procurement of trying to get a government contract or bidding and doing all of those things, it is really important about those relationships that you have, and how you work to maintain those relationships. I know oftentimes a lot of groups that kind of say, well, it's always and again, this is a family call, but people always say, it's people that don't look like us. It's the white people that's always getting the contracts. It's the white people that are always, getting their permits, secured in 2 days or with a quick turnaround and all of these things. And I always challenge people because one, I think we have to recognize that systemically there's always been disadvantages that exist when it comes to our people, but also there's the engagement piece that is lacking a lot of times. And so I always like to challenge individuals to say, what are you doing to strategically build relationships with your officials? How are you showing up at those respective city council meetings? How are you showing up when Representative Rose or Congresswoman Crockett or your state senator or county commissioner are hosting those respective town halls? What are you doing to not just come in when you have that project, but to say, hey, I'm in construction and I want to avail myself to be able to answer any questions that you may have around, our field, anything that you want to know. How do you build that genuine relationship that eventually turns into that two-way partnership to where you're being there for that office, in which if they need something, if they want to pick your mind, because again, we don't know all the things for every respective issue area. So we depend and we count on you all. And of course, the legislators, they kind of look to us as staff to do our research. And then as staff, we do our research, but a lot of our research and what we're telling our bosses comes as a result of the conversations that we're having with stakeholders. And so this engagement factor is very important. And I know at least in my office, and for me personally, it's something that I've always really just appreciated and have always wanted to be deeply connected to, because I don't put up a front that I know it all. And so I want to come to the experts on the issues. And so I think it's just very important that you also recognize and understand who kind of does what. At the federal level, I want to know about your project, especially if it's in the district. But I'm not the person you need to come to if you're trying to get something done with a permit. I'm not a person you need to come to if you have something going on with that state contract and you're trying to get on this respective project. Granted, our office is kind of that resource connector, and we can help kind of, make those warm introductions and whatnot. But it's important to just understand the various levels of government and to ensure that you have relationships across that wide spectrum. For us, definitely there's a lot of rulemaking that we do at the federal level, specifically with regard to the federal agencies. So, for example, with the SBA, when we talk about procurement standards at the federal level, when we talk about things around, the federal or wider kind of DEI initiatives as it pertains to small business or just business in general, those are things that we're engaged on. And if you have ideas around, hey, there should maybe be some federal legislation around, this, or we're noticing this across, multiple states. And there should be maybe a federal standard in existence that maybe currently isn't there. We want to know because that helps us say, you know what? Let's go ahead, work with our legislative team, partner with some other congressional offices, partner with some folks on the Senate side, and actually bring that legislation to fruition. The other thing that I will say, and again, it's been mentioned numerous times already, but it's just really the importance of engagement with staff. At the federal level, I see it a lot because, I think people don't understand how busy legislators are. And specifically, I mean, Representative Rose, I would equate kind of her schedule similar to the Congresswoman just because the in the state legislature, as she mentioned, they're only in session for those 140 days. So every day that they're in session, it is a jam-packed day. For us, it's a little different because we are a full-time legislature in that we are in session typically every week. We do have what is considered to be district work periods, which are weeks or days, designated days in which we are not in session. But when we're in session, we are moving between committee hearing, press conference, caucus meetings, having to vote on the floor. Sometimes votes can be 2 hours at length, if not longer. Having to give floor speeches, and in that process, you're trying to meet and connect with so many different people, whether it's, constituents that's coming in town. There's a lot of what's considered to be fly-ins in which groups, even like Nabwic, they would come in to DC and bring members to meet with different congressional members. But one thing that I see a lot is that when an organization or a group aren't able to meet with the actual member, then they just kind of get discouraged or they're like, okay, well, we don't want the meeting then. We only want to meet with the member. And so, I just really want to, impress upon you that it is very important to, of course, build that relationship with your legislator, like build that, try to get FaceTime with them. That's important, but it is also equally important that you build a relationship with that respective staff and that you get to that point. I have groups and organizations and stakeholders that they will pick up the phone and they will call me and they say, Kendall, like we have this going on and we need help here, or there's this bill that we need y'all's office to sign on, or we, are having these issues. Can you send a letter over to this agency? Or, hey, I don't know who, I need to reach out to at the city. And we have 12 cities in our district, 12 cities, 2 counties. And so we'll have people that reach out and they're like, hey, like, can you connect us here? And that's stuff that we're able to do. But again, it comes through that engagement that they have at the staff level. And, there's a lot of things, again, on our team, it's the member, but then we have both our district staff, so our Texas or Dallas-based staff, and then our DC-based staff. And we have an office of over 15 people. So a full outreach team, a full legislative team. I mean, there's a lot of different moving pieces, but it's important that staff is being kept in that loop because we are the ones that are essentially going and, when I have my weekly or daily or whenever I'm in communication with the Congresswoman, I'm kind of like, hey, I've heard from X, Y, and Z, and this is what they're having. So I'm letting you know what we're working on as a staff to be able to address that. So just wanting to ensure that, of course, a lot of things have already been mentioned by Representative Rose, but just making sure that you do not take for granted just engagement with the staff, engagement with your elected official, and showing up even when you may not have an active project brewing. Because I think building that genuine relationship to where the elected is able to see that this is actually a person who is about the community. Although, of course, everyone is in the business of needing money, so that we can live our lives. But recognizing that this is a person that is truly committed to not just developing my community, but developing with the community. And so I think for folks to be able to see that, I think that yields so many opportunities. And the one other thing that I will just say, and again, I'm not sure if NABWIC has a political action committee or anything, but this is just something that I will say just from my vantage point as, of course, now being at the federal level. Dollars also is very much so important when you talk about politics and just how things are moved. And when we talk about power players and how some people unfortunately are at the table, I will say for us, our office, we meet with anyone. It doesn't matter if you're a Republican. It doesn't matter if you're a Democrat. It doesn't matter if you're independent. It doesn't matter which stakeholder organization you represent. At the end of the day, we're going to meet with you. Now, you may not be meeting with the Congresswoman, but you're going to be able to have an opportunity to talk with our staff because, again, for us, we want that wide spectrum of understanding and we want to hear all sides of things. But you unfortunately have a lot of members, whether it is at the state level, the federal level, the local level, that, they go through and they say, okay, well, who's donating to my campaign? And so I'm not saying you go and, you empty out, all of your accounts trying to support a respective elected. But I will say that that is another component that a lot of people fail to realize is what does that political engagement look like in terms of, supporting that elected that is championing issues pertaining to, your business, and what you do. And so I just think that that's another important piece is to, find ways that you can go beyond, just having that conversation. How can you truly be intentional about building, that partnership? And that comes and that looks in a lot of different ways. Even when you're going in to talk with a representative about a project in their district, what is the community benefit associated? Like, don't just run through, the economics and kind of how that's going to add to the economic well-being of that district. But, are you going to, I don't know, you're giving to the local NAACP, the local community center or whatnot. So just some things that I would encourage everyone to kind of keep at the forefront as you're going and you're doing your engagement. But again, I'm going to drop some of our information in the chat. Always willing to be a resource specifically for folks in Dallas and even for the individuals who may not be in Dallas or the state of Texas. More than happy if you don't know your member of Congress or need help and kind of connect them with their office. More than willing to be a resource there. But again, just do not forsake the importance of building relationships with your elected official's office and truly understand which elected official can help you the most. If you're talking about something with a state contract, you need to talk to your state rep or state senator. If it's something in the immediate, you have an active project and something is being going wrong with your permits or whatnot, talk to your council member, talk to the development services team. And of course, as you are ideating around how to better grow the industry and how to make the industry work better for individuals who are Black women or just Black people in general, minorities in general. Like, have a conversation with us at the federal level and let's really brainstorm on how we can introduce some meaningful legislation to set and better refine some of those standards. So that's all I have. Definitely, again, I just appreciate the opportunity. And yeah, let's hope and pray that we get the government back open very soon.
Awesome. Thank you so much, Representative Rose, as well as Kendall. We truly appreciate your time and coming out this morning to speak to our members and our guests And at this time, if you have any questions or would like to address the our speakers, then please raise your hand and we will call on you respectively. We do want to give you an opportunity to just have an opportunity on this platform to speak to those individuals that have come to bring us some perspective this morning for working with our legislators. So right now we'll open the floor for any questions. And all right, so I see a hand raised in the chat. Carla Hill, go ahead.
Yes, I want to just shout out Mia and the Dallas team and the vision of Ann McNeil also. This has just been amazing in terms of the education. So creating the platform and Representative Rose and Mr. Locke just been awesome, right? And I must be a slow learner because I've spent my professional career as an HR executive in government, local government in the city of Philadelphia, both civil service and appointed positions, and been through several administrations, and even have a son that works as a lobbyist, has a government affairs practice that he manages. But it's through NABWIC of really understanding and getting down deeper of the nitty gritty. And as a career planning professional now, I have my own career planning consulting business. Just I want to hear from both of you, right? Because what I've seen in terms of elected and appointed officials, you guys have great skills, right? I'm very nerdy in terms of career planning and people using their personality, interest, skills, and talents for optimizing their careers. What are the opportunities for someone like me that is engaging elected or appointed officials? Because a lot of times it's temporary work, right? We get all in, but how can I help those appointed and elected officials, government people, understand that they have other skills and they could be optimizing, right, and transitioning? And, so I just really, since I have both of you here and you're so engaging, I would love to hear your feedback on that.
I guess I need a little clarification. You said we have to use the skill set. I guess, see, this is the miss to me. People have an idea that because we're elected officials, we're just these. Listen, let me tell you how I got started. I was in my community just working, minding my own business with no intentions of running for office. I had went, when I was in college, I went through my family went through a tragedy where my brother was murdered 1 month. He was murdered November the 13th, and then my sister was murdered well, she died in a car accident on December the 13th. So my parents buried two kids in 1 month, in which and then I survived. I was the only child that they had. And what I did, I was already, a member of Delta Sigma Theta, so I was already doing community service, but it became one of the things. I just, I was so grateful for my life. And you can't go through something like that and look at your life the same. And I was so grateful, and I wanted to use my life to help people. So the work that I was doing in the community, and then, when people see you're committed, people started pointing you to other things. My city council members I served on the Planning and Zoning Commission. I served on the Judicial Nominating Commission, the Martin Luther King. So I was just, I was NAACP vice president, legal women. I was just working in these organizations. I had no intentions of running. I just wanted to make my community better. And so, like I said, and when I said earlier, I was voluntold. My now colleague Yvonne Davis told me, hey, let me tell you what you're getting ready to do. And I'm like, I'm not going down there with those crazy people. And she was like, well, Tony, what is it? And plus, I had a career in mental health. And she was like, well, what is it? I said, well, I really like the work that I do in mental health. And she said, well, what better way to impact legislation mental health than through legislation? And so the light bulb clicked because, when I was a liaison, I was working in the Dallas County Jail for Parkland. I was working for Parkland Hospital in the Dallas County Jail, but I was a liaison between the courts and the psychiatric department. And so a lot of times people, I really believe the community rallied around me was because I had already shown my commitment to the community. It's not that I just, that I just knew it all or just had it all, but I do know how to go and finance if I don't have it. But it's not that, elected officials are just these. And because I'm going to be honest, even after I got elected, I called my dad. After I got elected, I was like, oh, Lord, I'm going down here with all these smart people. What have I done? And then Yvonne used to, my colleague, she used to say, Tony, they don't know any more than you do. And after I'd been down there for about 6 weeks, I'm like, what the hell they doing here? Because they have no clue. Seriously, I will be in hearings. We will be talking about mental health. And these are people who are making these decisions, but they have no clue. And like I would tell them, you looking at numbers and stats. I know the faces of these people who's going to be impacted by these decisions. So a lot of times people think it's not that we just have a special, we're just committed. To want to make our community better. It has nothing to do with like, I'm not saying I don't, I'm not, you know what I'm saying. I don't want to say I'm not saying that people who elect officials are not smart, but sometimes, and I know now I do know in some cases it can be a little different if you in other groups, because I know some of my colleagues, they just down there because they have money. They have no clue. I just be like, who are electing these people? I just don't get it, but it's just because they have the money. But just so happen I represent a district where I'm able to go. That I said I went to elementary school, middle school, high school, and college in my district. You can't get no more homegrown than that. So the people knew me. And when I ran, I didn't have to really introduce myself. I had already been working. So anyway, I done got on a tangent. I'm sorry.
Oh, but
I was trying to just
you answered the question. You have a servant's
okay.
heart, and you're not even about, I hear it. You're not even about the professional optimization that I'm talking about. But I think, when we get on an airplane, the flight attendants that put the oxygen mask over yourself first, we can help a lot more people when we are fully optimized. So I just see the talent there, but just being respectful of time, I'll toss it back to Mia. But thank you so much,
Thank
Representative.
you, Miss Hill.
Welcome.
Thank you so much. Before we go to the next hand, I do see we'll go to Tamla Bowie next. We are going to ask if you have an interest in learning more about NABWIC membership. If you want to just drop a number one in the chat, you'll get just moved real quick to be introduced to someone and come right back. So if you're interested in membership, drop number one in the chat. If you have an interest in helping us, as Angela spoke earlier about, we will be hosting the annual meeting in person in Dallas this year in January of 2026. So our next annual meeting, January 28th through the 30th, will be held in Dallas. More information will be coming out about that. If you're interested in helping us out with the planning committee, then please drop two in the chat. And if you are interested in learning more about how you can get involved with the NABWIC legislative committee, then you can drop three in the chat, and our team will help to get you maneuvered to the right place to be able to get you some information and just acknowledge your interest. So at this time, I'm going to call on Miss Tamla Bowie, who has her hand raised. Thank you so much.
Thank you. This question is for both Representative Rose and Mr. Kendall Locke. I'm not sure if you guys are aware that today is No King's Day. Rallies, protests that's happening across America. And I know there's one that's happening, or a few that's happening here in the state of Texas. I'm sure we've all seen all the ICE activities and everything that's going on. My question to you, Representative Rose and Mr. Kendall Locke, as Black Americans in Texas, should we engage in those protests? The reason why I'm asking, we are in contentious times, and I just don't want it to be a situation where we come out to support and just seeing an influx of people that look like us protesting, it could lead to, not an event that we want to find ourselves as Black people getting caught up in, or reason to be corralled or harassed attending these parades or protests. So what is your feedback on that, or your suggestion?
I'm gonna let Kendall. I can go first, but I don't want to monopolize the conversation. I want him to be able to to
I'll be real quick. I'm actually here in Houston right now. I'm participating in No Kings. I mean, I think at the end of the day, however you want to, of course, express yourself in or in anger in this moment, I think that you should do that, and I think you just have to do it with a level of caution. I think, at the end of the day, ICE and has been federalized or mobilized in a way that we know is to be discriminatory and honestly, aside from that, really to just intimidate. If I'm being completely honest, I mean, even in DC, DC was under or is under, of course, the observation or federal or the DC police has been federalized, and so there's the National Guard presence on the streets of DC and whatnot. And even as we were just at the Congressional Black Caucus, one of the things that we were doing with the foundation in preparation for the annual legislative conference was having conversations about what that would look like for essentially having over 8,000 people, Black people, in DC for that week, and how would that play out, and having these officers with these, large guns and and weapons and all these things, and being on the streets and doing all the things. I think again, it's all intimidation. I mean, not to discount or downplay anything that could potentially happen, but I think, it's no different than when people were protesting around George Floyd. I think it's no different than the No Kings protest that took place a couple of months ago. So I think if you go, you just have to use that added layer of caution, and just I don't want to say every man for themselves, but to ensure that you're upholding and trying to maintain a level of safety for yourself, and just being overly kind of vigilant and mindful. And I mean, again, even in Chicago right now, I mean, we have like Federal Guard, National Guard members from Texas that are there. We have, of course, ICE agents that are doing, the raids and busting into people's homes and doing all the things. And so again, they're doing all of these tactics. And so I don't expect that to decrease. And so I think with that information, you just kind of gotta plan accordingly.
in addition to that, I would just say, the protest is not necessarily about ICE. I mean, it's really just a protest against the Trump administration and all of the things that he's doing. And so I just feel that persons or individuals feel that, if they feel like that's something that they're in opposition to and would like to participate in, I don't think, yeah, I just believe that if, everybody had a right to protest, and that's what it is. It's a protest. And it's not necessarily, fighting ICE or just protesting against ICE. It's protesting against everything that he's doing. He is dismantling democracy. I mean, and so I think, it's up to that, the individual, person. But I know a lot of times too, when we think about ICE too, and this is something we're gonna have to stop doing as Black people. It's not just about Hispanics, you all. It's not about just about Mexicans. We have Haitians. We have people coming from. I mean, it's everybody. But again, That's why this is really about a lot of white supremacists, how they. It's like they go into these targeted groups, but people have to realize it doesn't just his impact the Hispanics, it also impacts other. You have a lot of um, people from India everywhere. So it's not just people always think it has to do with just, Hispanics, but it's not. But and I like I say, Kim, like I say, staff, I'm telling y'all, people sleep on, they think it's the staff is the one because he laid that out so good. But I just wanted to add that little bit to it as well.
Well, thank you both so much for your time. We truly appreciate you being here with us this morning. At this time, I'm going to ask our fearless leader, our founder of the National Association of Black Women in Construction, Ms. Ann McNeil, to come and bring some closing remarks with us, and then I will come back to get us dismissed. Thank you so much. Miss Ann, if you're speaking, we can't hear you. Okay. It looks like she's off mute, but we can't hear you. Give me 1 second. Because I'm sure she has some golden nuggets for us, y'all, because that's just how she rolls. All right. She says she's not sure why we can't hear her. No, ma'am, we can't hear you. Um,
You think the
oh,
volume may be down on her headphones?
that could be it. Miss Ann, you want to try turning your volume because we see that you're off mute. It's not picking up any sound from you, but you want to check your volume? Okay, I'm not sure what's going on, but she told me that I can close. So I'm gonna take her cue. I know that we went a little bit over this morning, but I think that we had a really engaging session and we truly appreciate, just the time and the commitment that both of you had with meeting with us this morning. We look forward to supporting you with everything that we can. We are truly engaged here in the Dallas market. We want to support you all in anything that you do. If there's something that we can do on behalf of our businesses, our individual selves, as well as NABWIC as a national organization, we welcome you to reach out to us. We can be reached at Dallas at nabwic.org. If you have a interest in us participating in anything that you have going on, we would love to support you. Also, I am going to put on my committee hat right now. I'm going to ask if you have any interest in getting information and joining NABWIC as an organization. We have a membership meeting every Tuesday. And that membership meeting is open so that you can just come in, get more information about the organization, find out the things that we're doing, get engaged locally. I'm going to share on my screen a QR code. And this is just information for you to be able to sign up to join our next meeting. We're always looking for volunteers to help us as we continue to grow. We are striving to charter as a chapter here in the Dallas area. I know that we have a lot of engagement, but really just invite you, if you know someone who's in the construction industry, you know someone who has an interest in, getting behind the things that we're doing, the mission and vision of the National Association of Black Women in Construction, please share the information with them so that they can join us because we would love to have them. That is all that we have for this morning. We truly appreciate everyone. And can I now get a motion to adjourn?
I'll make a motion to adjourn.
This is
Thank you.
Angela Robertson. I second that motion.
Well, thank you so much, both of you. And we appreciate everyone for joining us this morning. And we hope that you have a great remainder of your Saturday and your weekend.
Thank you.
Thanks.
Great job. Thank you.
Bye.
Great job. Great job.
Thank you. Thank you. Thank you.
Have we stopped recording?
We can't hear you. I stopped recording, and I think Miss Ann can end her YouTube live because we are on YouTube live. Let's see.
Tell us when we stop recording on YouTube Live.
Miss Ann, were you able to stop the recording? Just nod if you did. Did you stop your live? Have you stopped your live, Miss Ann? Because we still can't hear you. If you're in your car, try to turn your volume up on your car radio. Maybe it's playing there.
Testing, testing.
We hear you
Yep.
perfectly fine.
That's it.
My car was muted, but I have my headphones on. So I'm thinking
Yep.
it's my headphones, but it was my car. Thank you. So smart. And I'm going to end the Zoom, and by ending the Zoom, it will, I don't want to end the Zoom. I want to end the YouTube. Okay.
Yeah, it's still live on YouTube, FYI.
Okay, well, why don't we just end the Zoom and then just come back for a debrief? We can cut this part off of the YouTube. How about that? So we can do a quick debrief for those who are here instead of trying to get people to come back. Is that all right, everybody? We just end and come back. Okay, so I'm going to end.
Okay, everyone, please come back for us to debrief.
Thank you.
Same Zoom line. Thank you.
Yeah.